What's up, Kick and Bass? My name is Valentine, but most of you probably know me by my artist name, which is Millean. I recently produced a track with Cream. It's called What You've Done to Me, and it just hit 5 million streams. As a little celebration kind of thing, I wanted to make a video about it and tell you guys a bit about songwriting, which I feel like is a strong suit of mine. And yeah, I hope I can help you guys with it. I hope I can teach you something. And otherwise, I hope I can amuse you with the project at least. But without further ado, let's get right into it and open up Ableton. Alright guys, so as you can see, we're inside of Ableton right now. And this isn't the original project file of the song. But I have a new computer and Cream worked on it as well. So I figured I'd just put all the stems in the project the way I would do in a regular project, because I do have all the stems. So I figured that'd be the next best thing. Anyway, if you haven't heard the song, I'll play you a bit. So that's the song, and I really like it. I really like how it turned out. But yeah, let me tell you a little bit about where it originally came from, because when I start to actually write a song, I hardly ever start from scratch anymore. I do sometimes, but I don't know, I just find it very hard to get inspired when I open up a blank Ableton and start putting down some drums and just playing some bass lines. It just it doesn't work as well for me. I try to always start from somewhere else, and that's probably my first songwriting tip. Don't try to just go from nothing. And what I mean by that is sometimes I start with an a cappella, or another song, like a version of a song that somebody sent me, which was for this song the case. I actually got this song from Bemende, which is the singer on the track. She sent this to me, which is a track she already released at self-release, and it had 100 plays or whatever. But she really wanted me to make a house version, and we were so happy with it in the end that we decided to take her version offline and just make this the main one. I met Bemende through Instagram. I go on Instagram a ton. I just text singers, text writers. I just try to get in touch with as many people as I can. I do have a publisher now, but I wrote this song before I had contact with any of those type of parties. So it's really doable. You just go on Instagram. There's a bunch of talent, and yeah, you can find hidden gems like this one. Anyway, a lot of demos I hear from other people that ask me for feedback is, I like the ideas, but I just feel like the composition is not spread out enough. There's not too many different elements doing different things, and you don't always need 50 tracks. You could make a hit record with 5 tracks, but I really like to do that in my songs. So there's this synth that Cream added, which fits perfectly to the entire thing. And well, let's listen to it first. Yes, it's this one. And the reason why that fits so well is it solves a problem, because one of the problems we have when we're playing just the bass and the vocal and the drums is there's a moment where the flow stops. There's a silence there if I just mute this A thing, because it complements the other synth. But there's a little bit of silence there, right? It's and then after done to me, it's just silent. And it's a good way to make a tech house more listenable for people that are not super into it. So for example, I feel a producer who does this really well is Chapter and Verse. He fills up his drops really good, and Westend does this actually pretty well as well, especially in the Pink, the Getting Started, Get This Party Started track. Basically, what I mean by filling up the gaps is when something stops playing, something else starts playing. And this is where you start like actually creating hooks with different sounds. So right now, and the way I always go about it, and I write them myself, is I just try to hum or sing along to whatever I've created. So let's say I have this without the synth, so I'd sing it along, right? I go, fine boy, you don't know what you've done to me. I know I'm a great singer, but I'd have that, and then after I've said what you've done to me, I notice that there will be like a silence. So that's a trigger for me when I'm doing that. Oh shit, then I have space to add something. And when you add the synth, um, it fills up that gap. So if we do it like this, and I would sing that along, I'd go, fine boy, you don't know what you've done to me. Duh, I can sleep at night. Right? That gap is filled now, and that's a really big thing, because filling up those gaps is what makes the tech house more. It just gives you a bigger audience, because I mean, I'm a tech house DJ. I can listen to like a super underground tech house track, but not all my friends can. You know, if I just put that up on a party, like they're not all going to enjoy that. Or maybe at a party they will, but when we're just hanging out or in the car or whatever. So I try to add these things that make it, you know, just more interesting. Everybody has a very short attention span. Like, stuff needs to keep happening. Like, the next big tip I guess I have for you guys is, when you've written your parts, try to accentuate those. So we've written the bass line. We had the little we already had like a little accentuation here, right? But what we start doing is we start adding on to that. So we have this sound, which is pretty big. It plays twice. You probably didn't hear that with the music on. So it plays twice. Anyway, so what happens now is I can layer that. This is something you've all done, right? I'm just layering it with a sound. Make it more full. But the more important part is I'm going to accentuate notes by adding layers that play on some notes and on others they don't. So for example, this little vocal thingy, it plays only the first time that synth plays. So when I play those two together, it's what differentiates like this, the second hit from the first one. You know, it makes it so much more interesting by just adding one stupid little vocal thing. Or it could be anything, like just another sound. It's important that it feels good, because if I wouldn't have something there and maybe just one like Fisher horn or whatever, I'd have to wait too long for something to come in. And when I add a vocal stab or a synth thingy, there's a new element that I can like hum or sing along to. So right now I can go like dun 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 don't know what you done to me. So every second of that has something that I can sing along to. I can't stress the importance of just singing along through your own song. It helps me so much to see if it's good. Because if you can do that, it's at least it just never gets boring, and that's what you don't want in your tracks, to have it to be boring, right? But just change it up a bit, like break the pattern. I feel like it will change. It will make your song feel so much more like an actual like song. Because that's a problem that I had when I like started, is I would just make these tech out like beats, and it would be cool, but it would just be too much of the same thing. And this little like just breaking the bass, it just changed everything for me. I do that in every production I do now. So yeah, the bass just goes away for a while, you know, and then it's extra satisfying when it comes back. The bass layer does stay here, so there's like little hints of the bass, I guess, still in there. By the way, the bass layer is not playing like the intro, which makes the drop one sound a little bit different. I definitely feel like this is a thing I do when I check people that like ask me for feedback, is I just play the song and then I like scroll through the drop like in one click, and if it sounds the same, I'm like, okay, there's not enough variation, because you should never have it where you play like the intro or like the intro drop or whatever and then scroll through like a drop and have it sound the same. Those two need to be different, in my opinion. People need to know where in the song they are, even if they just click randomly on it. Actually, the last thing I want to say to you guys, and this is how I write all my music, is start just writing ideas in a loop. This has helped me a bunch when like songwriting my own compositions. It's just like open up a loop, add everything you can add. Let's say I've added this, and before you start like arranging your entire track, I tend to say, okay, so I have this like this drop, I have enough elements for the drop or whatever. Now I want like elements for the break, and I just mute I don't know, the bass, and I'd mute the vocal, and I'd like put a high pass on it, and I'd let that loop and then start writing new things on that. You know, maybe I'll say, okay, well, I don't have to take away the entire vocal, you know, maybe I can add like Just Fine Boy, for example, and have that repeat. And then I already feel like, okay, now it already feels like a break, right? If you just take out the bass and just high pass it. So when I hear this, my mind is like, oh, then maybe we can put a delay on that, you know, have it go like, fine boy, 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 boy. And then I think, oh, maybe I can add a nice pad, which I ended up doing. I ended up like writing most of my parts of the song just in a loop. And then when I had a lot of shit, it was very easy for me to like spread out in the arrangement. But that's also a little bit of an arranging thing. I don't want to put too much attention on that. And yeah, guys, if you have any other questions or things that I didn't go over and you want to know, just let me know. All right, peace.